This is a graph that shows where our energy that we use for transportation, producing electricity, and heating our buildings comes from. 81% of energy used in the US comes from fossil fuels. Only 10% of our energy comes from renewable sources, such as biofuel, solar cells, and hydroelectric power. As a country, we can certainly utilize renewable energy better than we do now. For example, let's look at where energy comes from specifically in Washington State.
Basically, all the electricity in the world comes from spinning. Most of that energy comes from burning fossil fuels to heat up steam and turn a turbine. A good part about this kind of energy is that it's easy to find things to burn. However, burning fossil fuels creates carbon dioxide, which contributes to global warming. Additionally, we don't know exactly how much more reserves we have. Fossil fuels accumulate over millions of years, and we've burned through a large portion of them in only 200.
68% of electricity generated in Washington state comes from renewable sources, and most of that comes from hydroelectric generation. Hydroelectricity works with the same principle of spinning as all the other types, but hydroelectric spinning uses water that's already falling downhill, so no fossil fuels are burned to make this electricity. If the rest of the US maximized their hydroelectric production, along with using other renewable sources of production, we could make our energy consumption almost completely sustainable. However, there's only so much energy we can harvest, and in the case of Washington state, we've dammed virtually all the rivers we can. Therefore, in addition to converting our country to a renewably powered one, we should decrease the amount of energy we consume in the first place.
Here's a graph of the proportions of energy that the average person uses in the US. As you can see, transportation accounts for almost half of all a person's energy consumption. Even though this is a large amount, there's lots of ways we can cut down on our consumption.
Something to start with is your windows and doors. If you're feeling cold in the house during the winter, close all available windows and doors to avoid having cool air come into the house. For the average person, heating and cooling accounts for 1/4 of all our energy use. So while it's okay to drive yourself large distances to different locations, think about carpooling with a friend or friends to reduce the total amount of emissions from multiple vehicles.